Hi, everybody. We are online with OfficeSpace. I'm Heather Larrabee, Chief Marketing Officer. I am so excited to be here today. We're going to talk about AI and the future of work. I am joined by my friends and colleagues, Andres Avalos, who is our Chief Product Officer. He has come to us from IBM, where he led the IBM Watson data and AI platform strategy. He's also been a leader at Wells Fargo, at Tea Leaf, which is kind of the progenitor of tools like Hotjar, and also user Zoom and user testing, which is all about bringing together these worlds of data, AI, customer experience. Super excited to hear your perspective because you've been in the AI game a long time. Our friend and colleague, Sahara Muradi, who is our VP of product, and she comes to us with this incredible B2C lens. So she's working in SaaS, having created some of the best, most popular apps on the App Store, including the MLB Ballpark app, so Major League Baseball Ballpark app, governs your whole game day experience and helps you have a delightful time. And then also something that I really love, the Marriott Bonvoy app. So she's going to bring that, human-centered lens to her work as she's thinking about AI for the workplace management category. I'm also joined by my friend Nick Mason, who is our director of marketing, and he has been with OfficeSpace for a very long time. So he's seen a lot of evolution in this category of software. He's very passionate about our clients and their experience and the problems they're trying to solve. So let's kick us off. So Andres, I'm going to go to you first. I'd love to hear your perspectives on what is the relationship between data and AI.
Yeah, the relationship between data and AI is one of a symbiotic one. You can't have artificial intelligence without a strong data stream to reference for building AI. Now, typically, that's meant leveraging data to build machine learning models that can create trends and patterns and infer attributes about the data. And now with the advent of generative AI, the outputs are now way more creative, way more consumable to people nowadays, with the outputs being video, text, music, and most recently, ChatGPT just released Sora, which is now creating video content. The world of AI and how data powers it is growing, the use cases are growing, and we're seeing that play out in the marketplace right now.
I love it. And so speaking of the marketplace, I'd love to know, what is your vision for AI within the workplace management category and the problems that we're helping teams solve?
The evolution of AI in the workplace management category is going to be quite extensive, especially, let's say, over the course of the next 5 years. I anticipate that AI will be able to enable real-time adjustments to workplace allocations based on actual usage patterns and be able to predict future space needs. So you imagine today, you have facility managers in the workplace, you have space planners that are trying to make sense of what's happening in the sites and on the floors that they're responsible for. And they have to pull data from all these different disparate sources. In the future, these individuals are going to be able to ask AI bots, AI assistants, to draw out or illustrate what suggested changes might be needed in the workplace on these specific floors, which is a significant paradigm shift, reducing a lot of overhead for these people today so that that way they can focus more on what's important for tomorrow. On the flip side of that, employees can also expect much more personalized experiences than what is offered today, because just like space planners and facility managers, employees leverage data to make decisions about their day-to-day, whether or not they go into work, whether or not they don't. Those decisions can be easier made with an AI assistant that can then provide information to make better informed decisions for employees about their days, help allocate the workspace resources to better fit their demands and their needs to make sure that they're productive and performing at a rate that is acceptable and exceeding business outcomes.
I've got a question for Andreas here. You're a big picture thinker, you're a visionary, you've come from a great background of AI and development in other industries. I would love to hear what your vision for AI is specific to OfficeSpace. Where's AI going for us?
Our vision for AI at OfficeSpace is to empower organizations to seamlessly manage and optimize their hybrid work policies and right-size their real estate footprints to support their hybrid work goals and business outcomes. We essentially just want to be helpful every day to the folks that are managing the workplace, as well as the folks that are interacting with the workplace on a day-to-day basis. How can we help organizations make the decisions they need to quickly and with quality data to optimize their workspaces and make everybody's lives, including employees especially, better in terms of the experience they have when engaging with work.
Great. I mean, I feel like that just really aligns so well with what OfficeSpace is all about really guiding people through this change, through this process, and how their workplaces are going to evolve over time and how the world of work evolves over time. So really love that kind of vision.
Love it. Sahara, I want to come over to you because as you know, I'm listening to Andres and I'm thinking about, your work around human-centered design. You're really infusing, our product teams ethos with that, right? And then bridging into our engineering teams. We're talking about, groups of people, facilities managers, commercial real estate teams, and then the end users, right, who have gone through such radical upheaval in the workplace. All of our, relationship to our place of work has fundamentally changed, likely forever. And, over the next several years, as all of us are still kind of evolving into what the new normal will be, this is, we think about facilities managers and commercial real estate teams. These are groups under pressure. So how do you, anticipate AI helping them be able to do more with less, get to insights faster, create more delightful experiences, and figure out ways to create, a competitive advantage with their workplace versus what it's been in, the last couple of years, which is a place of contention, confusion, conflict, as we're trying to figure out like our new balance point. How are you thinking about that?
So when we look at our user journeys in different types of industries, both at MLB Ballpark when we're looking at our fans, as well as at Marriott when I was looking at a guest user's journey coming in through our properties, all the time we're trying to understand the different types of challenges they're facing, the steps in terms of that process, and how we can marry technology to alleviate burdens and streamline those processes. So when we look at an employee, the standpoint is really on understanding what entices them to come into the office, what gives them that benefit of leaving their remote office location, gives them that sort of sense of community and social connection and being able to feel like it's a seamless experience for them, regardless of where they're working from, whether it's to have heads down work or meetings that they're attending or one-on-ones, or even just-in-time collaboration. And so what we're looking at is essentially how to leverage both from an AI perspective and alleviating those challenges and the anxiety and stress about that, but also marrying that to what that provides the facility managers in starting to streamline those processes to ensure that they can create that conducive environment. Some of the areas that we're leveraging AI is in powered chatbots that assist with automation of routine tasks. This can do anything from room bookings and desk bookings, as well as facilitating office-related questions for amenities, for resources, and answering frequently asked questions, whether it's on being able to understand peak days in terms of when people are coming into the office, or starting to align on certain resources that are needed to be more productive throughout the workday, or even office requests, whether it's for maintenance, the coffee machine is broken, the printer is low on toner, things of that sort, to freeing up facility manager time so that they can highlight and really focus in on higher level planning and problem solving. We also leverage AI for workspace optimization and analyzing employee occupancy patterns and preferences. So think about all of the data that's being captured today. When you look at the Internet of Things, sensors, smart building technologies, those will support us in aggregating data on usage that drives key considerations and decisions for our facility managers. This allows them to essentially optimize space layouts and resource allocation. For instance, facility managers can leverage AI to support operational use cases. That could be anything from identifying areas of the office that are underutilized and reallocating that space accordingly. So in case they want to convert a desk booking into more of a collaboration space, or essentially looking at that data and creating more strategic data-driven decisions. This includes energy consumption, equipment usage, asset management, identifying all of those areas for improvement so that they can allocate their resources accordingly and really plan for those as it relates to their OpEx costs. And lastly, when we think about office culture, AI can really drive cultivating a really unique culture for that specific location, that industry, for that segment, for whatever is needed in order to bolster employee engagement within their offices. So in that realm, we'd be able to identify trends, answer common questions about peak days employees are on site, recommending dates for in-office events and social gatherings, and also helping really inform that workplace strategy as our clients start to evolve their hybrid strategy and policies. The last use case I'd like to highlight is on AI for predictive maintenance. Algorithms that really allow us to take all of these data inputs from our sensor data and equipment to predict failures before they even happen, preventing costly downtime and disruptions. Imagine an AI system that alerts you of a potential issue with the HVAC system before it impacts an employee's comfort or productivity. So these are just some of the main use cases that I see today in terms of how AI can really help both from the facilities management perspective as well as the employee experience.
Oh my goodness, I love it. It sounds like utopia. Nick, I'm actually going to come over to you on this because you've worked with our clients for 8 years and running. You know our facilities managers and, VPs and directors of facilities. You know our heads of commercial real estate. What do you think their reaction would be to this kind of vision? What do you think the feeling would be that they would get in hearing that these kinds of things would be possible for them and within reach in a matter of months, not years, not decades?
Yeah, I mean, I think that all this kind of stuff is going to be very welcome, but also very intimidating at the same time, right? We are at this point where everyone's entering this new disruption world of work, of hybrid, right? So everyone's just trying to get their heads around that and get used to that. And now we're bringing in AI. There definitely is this potential for it to be a scary thing or something that could be a great opportunity. So actually, I have a question for Anders on this one. What is sort of like in your mind, like the biggest disruptor for AI in the next 5 years? Like as we enter this world of hybrid work and AI coming in, how are these two things going to be combined and how will it completely disrupt the industry? Because I think it probably will, but I would love to hear your thoughts on it based off your background and expertise.
The way I think that AI will disrupt the workplace management category over the next 5 years, as I anticipate AI will enable a whole bunch more real-time adjustments to workplace allocations, where organizations spend most of their time based on informed data. And that's going to be the key. I imagine that the data landscape for organizations far and wide is going to broaden extensively with a number of different IoT applications, maintenance applications, general reporting applications, all coming together, being consolidated, working with each other to power AI systems to make better informed decisions. So you can think about some of the key roles and players responsible for managing the workplace, like space planners, facility managers, corporate real estate professionals. They need a lot of data in order to make the decisions, which are costly for businesses, to optimize the workplace for their employees. And they need that data and information faster. So imagine a world where they have an AI assistant that they can ask questions like, what is my utilization rate? What is over the past course of a specified time? What are my peak days? That way they understand in real time what's happening in their floors, on their sites, so that way they can make better decisions in the future. Now you tie that and marry it with some of the emerging technologies like the metaverse and augmented reality, so you can visualize proposed changes in a physical space and in a digital space to then further reinforce the decisions you're making are quality ones.
I'd like to follow up a question for you, Andres, on that, and then we're going to go over to Sahara. This has to do with data governance and data responsibility. So whenever we think about big data, that is always the next question, especially when working with enterprise teams or teams that are more mature in their data, posture. So what is your perspective on ethical AI, responsible AI? What are the hallmarks of that? What are our commitments, at OfficeSpace to practicing responsible AI? And why does it matter? Why should we care?
That is an excellent question. The importance of responsible or ethical AI is top of mind for business leaders that are thinking about how to implement AI. So I believe, and my philosophy is that developing AI solutions that are transparent, equitable, and privacy preserving. So I think it's essential that we ensure that our AI-driven recommendations support diverse work styles and respect individual preferences with optimizing the experience of using software. So ethical considerations guide our AI development process here at OfficeSpace, from data collection to model deployment, ensuring that our technologies enhance work environments without compromising fairness or privacy.
I love that. And Sahara, when you're thinking about this as it relates to our roadmap, right, which you and Andres lead together, the creation of you lead a really incredible research-based practice, confirming the needs that, exist, the problems that exist, and making sure that what we're building is of ultimate value. And then that tied to those human-centered principles. And I'm also hearing you kind of talk about that in your response, Andres, of, empowerment, ethical approaches to the human experience, equity, inclusivity, things like that. How do you imagine bringing this to life on our roadmap at OfficeSpace so that we can be helping accelerate the human creativity and the human potential inside these amazing organizations that we get the chance to serve?
When we think about human centricity, we really want to hone in on the areas where employees feel empowered by their workplace, as well as being able to truly accelerate tasks and simplify what they will need from an office perspective so that they can be more productive, more effective, and feel like they're truly connected in a way that they aren't when they're at home. Leveraging AI, our roadmap and our strategies focus on facilitating seamless workplace experiences, enhancing collaboration in the office, improving safety and security, and also creating personalized comfort. Going through each one of those, from a seamless workplace experience, our chatbots guide our employees through booking desks, understanding availability of rooms, meetings that are happening around the office, amenities, and also just eliminating frustration in doing some of these more admin and menial tasks that essentially is being conducted and performed by an assistant for you, making the office interaction at the forefront and the most important part of your day, as opposed to having to do more of these admin associated tasks to get there. AI can also enhance collaboration with tools that facilitate communication and collaboration between employees. This could be within your office location, but also across different office locations, knowing who's planning to come into the office, as well as who's actually in the office with leveraging our presence data and utilization. If someone connects to the Wi-Fi or badges in, you'd be able to know that someone who's planned to come in is actually there and start to really bolster that communication and connection. AI can also empower security systems when it comes to safety and security. We can detect and respond to potential threats and emergencies quickly and efficiently, really reducing the overhead and the anxiety and the tasks that are on our facilities managers as well as our IT staff. And lastly, when it comes to personalized comfort, imagine a workplace that's configured for your individual preferences, whether it's the temperature, whether it's the resources that are at your desk, the perfect location in the office to have heads down work because you're between meetings and you need to get some emails out. Having AI really empower you to understand where those locations are, what are optimal times, and places that you can essentially really sort of get into the groove of your work and be more productive within the office environment. So we're really excited that our roadmap is geared towards several of these use cases, and we're working closely with our clients in ensuring that we're designing these solutions that cater to their individual needs and can be the most effective for their employees and across their global locations.
That sounds incredible. Nick, it looks like you've got a question. Jump in there.
Yeah, I do. So, what I'm very curious about is, we've just released workplace intelligence fairly recently, having the ability to answer that golden question of how my office is actually going to be used. And I would love to get your perspective, and Sahara or Andres can jump in on both this one. Tell us a little bit about kind of where workplace intelligence stands today, but then how maybe AI will be introduced to that at a future date. What would that collaboration look like between those two products?
Our workplace intelligence dashboards and reports provide our clients with a number of different insights that they can act on. Presence by site allows you to essentially see how employees are engaging with their specific location. They can also see this by employee type and essentially leverage presence data, whether it's connection through Wi-Fi or through badge scans, that show utilization of spaces across their departments, across different locations, and ensuring that they understand how space is being utilized between common spaces and desks and rooms. This helps our clients track how many employees are remote, hybrid, or in office, creating their optimal blend of different work styles, as well as planning for attendance spikes. They can also forecast space needs and adapt their hybrid policy to meet their employee needs. As our clients leverage OfficeSpace to track occupancy and presence-based utilization, we're building on our reporting and analytics capabilities even further. This will really help with streamlining decision making and essentially leveraging predictive modeling to help suggest items that they can bring to the table for their leadership as considerations as they evolve their workplace strategy. Layering AI will really help our clients answer key questions regarding their workplace. And what we'll do is essentially leverage their data within the system to provide relevant responses and recommendations. So clients could essentially ask questions like, how does my overall employee attendance vary across different days of the week? Are there trends in a departmental attendance that coincide with company events, initiatives, or holidays? Which sites are managing the lowest office activity in relation to their seating capacity? Or even, does the office usage fluctuate in response to changes in our company policies and our operational procedures? We'll be able to leverage AI to power smart suggestions and to make those data-driven decisions by essentially empowering that capability within the platform. Facility managers ask those questions directly in the system and receive natural language responses, links to the specific dashboards and reports that contain that data that's informing that response, as well as then receive smart recommendations and suggestions on opportunities to leverage that data one step further and make a decision or a recommendation or be able to change a policy and continue to evolve their workplace strategy. This really will help them with optimizing their real estate and their resources more effectively. We'll further be analyzing opportunities to highlight AI-driven sustainability practices as well, allowing clients to reduce their environmental impact. This is a big strategy for us from an OfficeSpace perspective and looking at how we can help our clients with their carbon emissions as well as promoting sustainability best practices throughout their sites and locations moving forward. We're really excited about this and are continuing to do a lot of discovery with our clients now on those key use cases.
Amazing. Yeah, this is something that's going to be, I think, revolutionary for teams in their workplace to be able to get this data so quickly and so reliably. And yeah, it's going to be like having a personal assistant be able to run all that data for you, but do it instantly. That's amazing.
And you know what I think about too is, and Andres, I'd love your perspective as well, but that also makes me think about the generational implications of this, right? So on this call, we have members of Gen X and Gen Y, Gen Z, we've got the oldest members of Gen Z are 29 years old. They're in the workplace, right? So they are going to be faced with, the impact of climate change for the duration of their lifetime and beyond, right? With their families, they're going to have higher expectations, and they already do, right? For brands, for employers, for the workplace experience. They're building their lives, their communities. And, we know that generationally, they want to drive like a sea change around the world in the way in which we interact with other people, with our environment, with our lived space. So it does really feel like the advent of this technology with these human-centered systems is going to be maybe, one of the secrets to our longevity, big picture wise. Andres, what do you think?
Absolutely. Everything you just said is right on the money. When we think about bringing all of these different generations and different types of folks together, different groups with different cultural backgrounds, the synergy is going to lie in where the commonalities live across this disparate landscape of individuals. And there are important things for each type or relative group inside an organization that can drive the kind of culture you want to cultivate for and within your organization. And that's so key and that's important. People don't just want to work for companies that are solely and holistically just invested in them individually. They want to work for companies that are investing in the localities and the geographies that they operate out of. Organizations are looking for tools and data to help keep a pulse on these emerging trends to make sure that they're not only building the workplaces that their employees want to experience, they're building the cultural web to drive the business outcomes that they need.
Outstanding. All right, Andres, I'm coming at you with a hard-hitting question, and it involves your Oculus. Let's talk about VR. Let's talk about AR. You are a huge student of the metaverse. And again, just knowing the way in which you see the world, you see the space-time continuum. How far out are you imagining the role of the metaverse in the future of our workplace?
I think that's the question of this decade. So right now we're seeing the entire AI landscape evolve at a rate that's unprecedented. Generative AI is going to completely change how everybody works moving forward. Not only that, I also think it's going to accelerate other technologies and practical applications of those technologies over the course of the next 5 to 10 years. We're seeing adoption rates of technologies like VR and AR accelerate, especially as we see Gen Z coming into the workplace. These folks are used to buying digital assets, for example, growing up, playing the most popular video games you can think of. But in addition to that, and especially over the last 3 years, and we see some of the biggest players in the space like Meta going all in on this, is the metaverse. The metaverse is getting higher and higher adoption. There are more versions of the Oculus glasses coming out almost on a yearly basis now. I see the metaverse being a key role for folks that are responsible for the workplace. Because if you think about it, people today, they have their family life that they have outside of work. And where do they spend the next majority blocks of time of their life? In work. Organizations have to worry about people inside the office and remote employees and everything in between. The one single constant is that collaboration is going to be key in the future of workplace management. So technologies like metaverse, where you can bring and merge the in-office experience with the remote in a digital landscape, is going to be a game changer in terms of this market category and in this market space. And your vendors in workplace management are going to have some type of serious strategy to pull in the application of the metaverse over the next 3 to 5 years.
I have a follow-up question to that, if that's okay. So, I mean, with stuff like the metaverse, with stuff like AI, as people are thinking about implementing any of these kinds of, or adopting any of these kinds of technology, what are some of the considerations that they really need to be taking, into heart and to mind to think about what is the best practice? Like, if someone's going to be bringing AI into their organization, what are some of the checks and balances they need to consider?
Yeah, there's a couple of things there. The first one is they got to make sure that they have the proper protocols and processes in place to properly assess the need of AI, because it does require governance. It does require some ethics and considerations when deciding when to purchase and deploy AI for practical application. You also need, in addition to that, a workforce that's ready to adopt the AI and emerging technologies. So you really have to profile your workforce. And a great way to do that is surveys, getting hard data to understand where they're at so you can meet your employees in terms of their needs in the moment and what they're thinking about in the future. One good example that I know of is a company called Loom. They've had digital offsites in the metaverse, for example. So folks remote in office can meet up, quote unquote, in digital person and engage, foster communication, collaboration, and really get to know each other on a level that is not possible in the physical world or just in the remote world over Zoom. So I think you're going to start to see a lot of use cases like that emerge in the coming years.
Wow, that sounds really cool.
So we've got some exciting news to share. Speaking of AI today, so you guys have been at the forefront of driving AI innovation across our full software category. And what we're really excited to announce is the advent of something new at OfficeSpace tied to AI. So I'm going to ask Sahara to share the big news. What do we have?
Yes, we are really excited to introduce Aussie, who is our new AI assistant. Aussie is your platform companion for everything you need from an office perspective. Right now, we are starting to gather insights on what our employees, as well as our facility managers and our IT assistants, really need from an assistant. Are they looking for specifics on booking a desk, finding a location or amenity, how to leverage the platform to the best of its abilities? So as we start to gather these insights, what we've done is launch our new assistant that allows you to ask natural language questions, receive responses on each of those use cases, and be able to really facilitate and streamline the most effective experience for your office visit. So we're really excited to start rolling this out within the next month, and have this assistant provide more streamlined support, as well as really make our employees feel that they're supported throughout their office journey, whether it's booking a desk or in a room. And for our facilities managers, they'll be able to ask OSSI specific questions about their data and their insights and get responses that will help them with making informed decisions, as well as responding to leadership on how their workplace strategy is effectively being rolled out and performing.
Amazing. We cannot wait to introduce Aussie to all of you. And Andres, you've got a very clear vision for how you imagine people interacting with Aussie day to day. I'd love to hear it. What do you imagine?
I imagine Aussie is going to provide real-time data to both the folks that are responsible for the workplace and the folks that are experiencing the workplace every single day. You can think of Aussie as your personal assistant. So it's going to offer this personal experience for you where you can ask detailed questions about your workplace or about the data of your workplace and get natural language responses back instantly. Not only that, Aussie will be able to then further proof its responses to you by taking you to the underlying data sources that's crafting its response. So you'll be able to talk to it just like we're talking right now to each other. And that's going to be a paradigm shift in terms of how people interact with the workplace and how they engage with it moving forward.
I love it. And you had a very particular vision of what you wanted Aussie to look, feel, sound, be like. And I think this is an incredible story. So I'm going to put you on the spot, but I'm going to ask you to share this because you are a big picture visionary kind of person. And so I just love this. And our team really enjoyed working on this with you. So tell us a little bit about the character of Aussie and how you helped bring this to life.
Right. Yeah. The character of Aussie is going to be fun, light, and engaging. So we are going to be rolling Aussie out as a coffee mug that you can think of as your personal buddy that helps you answer all of your day-to-day questions. So you can imagine, get to your desk in the morning, you put your cup of joe on your desk, and you can grab your cup of joe and ask Aussie, the coffee mug in your user interface of OfficeSpace, what was my utilization rate over the last 3 weeks? Did my colleague John come in last week? Ask it anything you want, and it'll respond in natural language directly back to you. And the great thing about that is that there is opportunity, and we have plans to take advantage of them, to make Aussie more interactive in the future, where it'll be able to surface insights for you. So upon logging in to our OfficeSpace, Aussie can then showcase new insights indicating that it has something of interest for you based on your personal viewing history within OfficeSpace. Now, obviously, there's a lot we can do with that. Aussie is going to be critical and a key focus for us in driving a lot of our AI tech stack. And we're going to be deploying large language models as well as generative AI to continue to make Aussie more intelligent as time goes on.
I love it. And I love the name Aussie. I want to give a shout out to our friend and colleague, Kylie Reynolds, who's our SVP of engineering, who named Aussie because internally we have a little acronym for Office Space Software, OSS. And so that's kind of where that name originated from. So shout out Kylie. It's so exciting what you all are doing with our engineering teams. And, you know, on behalf of our clients, I think Nick and I both would like to just thank you all and our teams for being visionary and for bringing this kind of world-class solution to them, because we know that they have really hard jobs and there is a lot to do and there is so much change underway in their work lives. And so we feel very proud and honored to be able to bring something like this that is truly going to help them have a better day every day at the office and beyond. So thank you both. Thank you, your teams. Tune in again for Online with OfficeSpace. We'll see you soon.